Welcome back, everybody, to the weekend show where I'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of other setups, definitely check out this link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. So, Friday, Dow was up 0.13%. Nasdaq was down, I think, nearly 2% and pretty much recovered everything, only down 0.32%. S&P flat and Russell going down 0.5%. 11 sector that makes up S&P 500. On top, you can see consumer defensive utilities leading the way, so risk off move here in the market. And then stock market map, what do we have here? Nvidia going down, giving up all those gains from Thursday or Wednesday night, and going down nearly 3%. Apple going up close to 0.5%. Microsoft going flat, Amazon flat, Google flat, Meta flat, and Tesla going down over 3%. And you can see consumer defensive, especially with big earnings from Costco. That thing led the market on Friday up over 3%. On a Microsoft, it's up 0.37%, and you can see came back down to where? Well, 455 on Friday. There was a little bit of downside here on Microsoft, but again, bulls doing a great job buying up those dips and pushing the price higher back up over 460. So if this thing remains over 455, does not close this gap at 453.69, it can definitely move up to 465, and from there possibility of going up and retesting previous all-time high and maybe even hitting a brand new all-time high. That's possible on Microsoft with this kind of bullish trend that is going on at this point. Now, if this thing somehow gaps down tomorrow, maybe opens under 455, there is a gap down here at 453.69. That's going to act as a support underneath 455, and then there is also support at 447, and only below that, watch out for a dump off, possibly down to 434 right here on Microsoft. On AMD, it's down 2%, so Nvidia took a beating, so AMD also down with Nvidia, and you can see came down to rising 20-day moving average, and that support pretty much aligned with this 110 here, and it did hold at the end. We did not close this gap at 112 from gapping down on Friday, so there is a gap just above. And this thing so far holding the 20-day moving average, there is a gap below as well, and not to mention this gap. Now, just because we got all these gaps does not mean that AMD has to come down and close all these gaps. But I think if this thing can hold over 110, there is a good possibility where AMD can move back up, close this gap. Over that, it can go up to 118 and then 122. Now, concern for the bulls on AMD. If this thing breaks below the 20-day moving average and stays under 110, then there might be more downside in the short term to come and close this gap right here, which is in line with this 50-day moving average, which is actually rising as we speak. So it's gonna have confluence here very soon. This 50-day will rise and pretty much will go up to this gap. So if this thing pulls back here, that's gonna be even a better opportunity to buy the dip on AMD right here at the gap fill reversal 103.54 and the 50-day moving average, which is sitting close to 102. On Google stock, it's absolutely flat on the day, but look at the bullishness right here on Google stock. The dip got absolutely smashed. This thing came down to 168, under 170, right here at the 13-day moving average, and the dip was bought up, immediately went back up, and now it's over 170 and pretty much holding over this 172.55 5-day moving average. And the trend is definitely turning into a bull trend. And why? Because we have 5-day, 13, and the 20-day, and even the 50 is rising now. So it's a positive slope. If this thing can continue to hold over 170, I think you're going to see 176, and then at some point this gap will likely to get filled right here just under 181 on Google. Now Google breaks the 170, there will be support at 169 as well, and then 166 20-day moving average, and then 162. On Amazon, stock is down 0.34%, so Amazon came down almost down to this rising 20-day moving average, this white line on your screen, and this thing went back up, and now you can see it did close over 205. These moving averages, there is a gap right here just below 209. So as long as it's Amazon can hold right here around 205. It can move up and close this gap. And we were actually really close to it on Thursday. We did not close this gap. But now, if this thing wants to go, it can possibly go up and close this gap. And over that, 212 is the level to watch. And we saw that with the news that came out when Trump's tariff got blocked by the court. This thing rallied up to 212. So I think it's going to go there at some point. And the trend, just like Google, looks pretty bullish here, and it can possibly continue. Now, if Amazon breaks below 200, then definitely this gap comes into play just under 195, which can act as a support. And then there is also strong support right here between 190 to 191 because of this rising 50-day moving average right here on your screen. On Meta, it's up 0.38%. So Meta came down almost down to this gap, 632. We did not close the gap fully, went back up, and now trading over 638. So, you can see, I mean, all these big names, except I would say, a little bit of concern on Apple at this point. But I think that is a great buying opportunity out of all these mega caps. Two things that I see here: Apple is a great buying opportunity, and Google, the rest are pretty much high. Like this one, I would not even chase. I mean, look at all these gaps and just still, I mean, going up, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was down just a tiny hair, last week. And look at the dip buying here on Meta. Over 638. And now if this thing remains over 638, it can push up to 664, possibly even higher. Now, if this thing breaks below 638, watch out for the gap fill reversal, which can act as a support, 632.45. There will be support at 628 because of confluence from this 20-day moving average, and underneath that 614 and then 607, this gap right down here on Meta. On Apple stock, it's up 0.45%. So Apple came down underneath the support right here, 198, went back up, and now you can see it's holding over this 199.34, basically the 5-day moving average. So Apple has a lot of work to do. We did not take out low from Tuesday here, or this was, I think, the prior week, Friday, right? So this low is not taken out here, which is a good signal. Now, Apple is the only stock, I believe, at least in my opinion, still not that high. Why? Well, what is the all-time high? You can see it right here on Apple stock, 52-week high, 259, so 260. You're getting a $60 discount, which you're not getting on a lot of the other products, especially big names. So Apple, the biggest name, I think it's great opportunity here. Even if you're buying here and this thing comes down, as long as you have a time on your calls, or if you're buying shares, then who cares? Shares are gonna recover. You're gonna make money. If you lose money buying Apple stock, you shouldn't be trading. You should not be trading. You should not be watching YouTube videos. You shouldn't be involved in any kinds of trades, because Apple is the number one stock in my view, to learn trading, to hold shares, to maybe hold long-term calls. I'm not talking about some quick scalp on Apple, but I did put out a nice idea Friday morning for Apple scalp, and anybody did that Friday, they made a ton of money because buy areas did hit on Apple, and then it actually went in the money, the calls that I recommended. So if you guys want more trades, and if you're really serious about trading, I'm not sharing anything here in this video. I don't have time. Definitely, guys, it's worth every penny, and you're gonna learn a lot with my Patreon group. So definitely, give that a try. Check out the link down in the description. So Apple 198 key level to watch going into tomorrow's session. Underneath that, we might come back all the way down to this 193 to 190. To the upside, next big resistance right here at 204, I would say, and then 207. Over that, we have this gap just below 210 on Apple. On Tesla stock is down 3.34%. So Tesla is down, but if you look at my screen, guys, I mean, it's way up over 300. So I would not even consider like a big dip or nothing. So Tesla is just taking a breather, just cooling off, and there is a gap here at 344 or 343 here. So we might close this gap, and there's a bunch of other gaps down here. So Tesla here is just taking a breather. Watch, as long as Tesla is over 330, it's still, I would call this a nice bullish uptrend, and it can continue. Now Tesla comes back going into tomorrow's session, does not hold 343 gap fill reversal as a support. It can come down to 330. This thing goes over 352 5-day moving average, then watch out for a move back up to 362. And how many times you got rejection here? One, two, three, fourth time on Friday. So This is going to be a level to watch for the bulls. If we get over 362, it's heading higher easily up to 375 and then even 400. So the key point that I'm making here, 362 breaks, we hold over that here on Tesla. Definitely the target should be 375 to even 400. On Netflix, it's up 1.89%. So it looks like this stock does not want to give up. We got some pullbacks here, like $20 to the downside, which is absolutely nothing, on a stock like Netflix. You can see 13-day moving average, which is rising so far, acting as a support for back-to-back 2 days, Thursday and Friday. You can see this 180 to 186 range. This moving average now rising, now sitting at 186, was holding, and now we are back over 1200. So as long as this thing is over 1200, we might be retesting this all-time high here, 12, 15, 16 here, and over that, Netflix can move up to 1230. This thing goes under 1200, then watch out for 1186 down here at 1163, and then we can talk about possibly rolling over and going down in the short term. On Nvidia, stock is down nearly 3%. So Nvidia, if you guys remember, in my last video, I talked about a short position here on Nvidia. It was really good, guys. Some people did not buy what I actually recommended. They got 70-80% on that play because we showed it right out of the gate, right after earnings, pretty much right here at the top at 143 on Thursday morning, because the earnings came out Wednesday night and this thing was up, and the market was up with the news also, but everything pretty much faded, right? So Nvidia, I'm not saying that Nvidia cannot go up here, but you can see, I mean, Kramer's effect definitely working here on the stock. I mean, this guy remains bullish on Nvidia, and here's another factor, the CRM, another one that he called out, and then that thing from going up 5% actually dumped right after Kramer commented on X. So, very vicious guy. And so far, I think I have multiple trades, maybe about 7 to 10 trades, that these were like Kramer alerts, Kramer trades, right? Inverse. And so far, I mean, some people will find this hard to believe, but people that are trading with me, they know exactly how many trades I called out here on Kramer, just reversing, and pretty much it does not mean that it's 100% guarantee that it's going to, play out. But when this guy calls on something that is like he's positive or bullish on it, usually goes down. And I'm telling you guys, another name that we're seeing back and forth, it's gonna go down. Now people will find it possibly like a bad because this guy making comments and things are going down, but this is just the way it is. There is something with that, right? A lot of people use that and they make money. It works. But is that 100% guarantee? Absolutely not. You gotta have your own experience in the market to trade something like that. And we pulled it off on CRM. We pulled it off on Dell on Friday. Was fantastic, that trade on Dell that we took. And then Nvidia is another one. I'm still holding some puts on Nvidia, and these are not going to expire anytime soon. Even if this thing goes up to like a brand new all-time high, I don't think I'm going to lose arm and a leg, and it'll come back and I can get out easily. So Nvidia, if you look at my screen where things are holding, well, it's not holding over 136. It came back slightly under that level. I think came down to 133 here, almost down to the next support 130. So we're back in this range, 136 and 130. Key levels to watch: 136 breaks, we might be going back up to 144. 136 does not break, we get more sell side activity next week, starting tomorrow. And 130 support does not hold, the next stop daily 200 SMA, and the support itself 126. So Nvidia, I mean, definitely, with earnings, not everything is true. Whatever Jensen is saying, that I mean, this guy counting revenue from what's coming or what's about to come in 2026, already putting it out, guys. I mean, it just this is how it goes. And I don't know how true that is. I haven't really looked into it, but let me know. I'm hearing rumors of Jensen selling a lot of shares, and if that's the case, well, last time he sold a bunch of shares, and we saw significant downside on Nvidia. And if that's going to take place in near short term, there is going to be some downside on Nvidia. But again, the trend is up, it's bullish so far. This, if you look at this trend line here, it's so far holding. And as a matter of fact, I can draw this trend line here and you guys will see that we're just going straight up. And so far, I mean, it's holding over this trend line. So Nvidia is still bullish, but if this thing breaks below 126, things will change quickly. And there's a bunch of gaps down here on Nvidia, and we can close. I'm not saying all the gaps will likely to get filled here, but we can close some of these gaps down here. There is one close to 118, and we can come down here, and that would be lots of money for people that actually got in here at the top, including myself, and shorted Nvidia. There might be more to those puts as profit as the time goes on. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and if Jensen is selling shares or not. What do you guys think, and how Nvidia will possibly come down, or you guys think it's going to go up and will retest all-time highs and maybe will hit all-time high once again.